Hey everyone, I'm a bit behind on my upload schedule. I wanted to talk about that as well as discuss why I haven't made a few select videos that have been expected for a while. First off, videos on Sonic Frontiers, Superstars, and Sonic X Shadow Generations. I always intended to make a video about Sonic Frontiers, but it's a massive game and I'd be going through hours and hours of footage and it seemed just a little too overwhelming, so I kept putting it off. I wanted to let my thoughts settle in and have a non-biased opinion toward it, but then the update DLCs were announced and I thought it was best to wait for those. But again, it's something I kept putting off and it hasn't really been a priority. And then there's Sonic Superstars, probably my most requested video topic. I know my videos breaking down the Retro Engine classic Sonic games for both mobile and Origins are some of my most viewed videos, and the amount of requests for Superstars really took me by surprise, as nobody even requested I make a dedicated video on Sonic Mania. And Superstars isn't a Retro Engine remaster or re-release, so there's not really anything to compare to, but yeah, it's a brand new classic Sonic game. There's obviously going to be things to talk about, but I just didn't have too many opinions on it. I got the game pretty late. This is really weird, and I don't have an explanation for this, but my play sessions were very far and few between, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because somehow I kept forgetting the game existed. I wasn't putting off finishing it, I literally just kept forgetting I needed to finish it. And every now and then I'd look at the game card in my Switch carrying case and think, oh yeah, right, Sonic Superstars. I only just beat the main story this year, and I do still intend on making a full video about it, but with all the other videos I've been working on at the moment, it's still something you're gonna have to wait for. Sonic X Shadow Generations would have been two videos, one comparing Sonic Generations to its 2011 counterpart as a follow-up to the video I made last year comparing all the 2011 releases, but I did feel conflicted after it released because pretty much all the game's differences were brought up and highlighted almost immediately before I could make a video, and pretty much everyone talking about it said exactly what I wanted to say, almost word for word, and by then it felt like what was even the point? But my mindset has changed and I do still want to do it. And the other video would have been fully dedicated to Shadow Generations itself because holy crap, I freaking love this game. Sometimes I still can't believe it's real and I didn't just dream it. And I really do have a lot to talk about. And to show how serious I am about this, a couple months ago I bought the game 2 more times on both PS4 and Nintendo Switch at discounts to talk about the differences between them and the PS5 version I got back in October. And amazingly, both of them together cost less than the Switch 2 edition of the game. Wow. But the main reason I haven't done these yet is because for most of this year, I've actually been really struggling to keep up with my backlog of videos, and I'll explain why. So in preparation for the third Sonic movie, I had an upload plan in place. I had made 2 videos that were Sonic Adventure 2 themed, this being the videos on Chaos Control and the BioLizard, both of which I'm still really proud of, and there were 2 more videos planned to follow them up for December and January. These were going to be a video fully dedicated to Rouge the Bat and how there's so much more to this character than people realize, and everything would build up to and connect with the final video intended to celebrate both the third movie, but Sonic Adventure 2 itself. A big retrospective breaking down why the game is so beloved. Not so much of a review as it would have been talking about the story and the characters and various elements surrounding the game and why it's so significant to both Sonic fans and the grand scheme of the Sonic series itself. But why didn't this happen? Well, my videos typically take a month to make, between getting the ideas out, writing a script, recording and cutting down my voiceover, editing all the footage together, and occasionally creating animated visuals, and for other people it would probably be faster, but I need to take my time with this process. I don't rush my videos, I put a lot of care into them, and during the month or months it's being made, I'm not always gonna be working on them every hour or even every day. I have other projects I work on in the background like animations, I have other commitments with friends and family and assorted appointments and things, and there's just some days where I come home and simply do not have the mental energy to open my computer. Some may call that laziness, but I have limits and sometimes I just need to take the time for myself and recharge, and if I force myself to work on videos anyway, it just won't happen. Back in January, me and a friend took a trip to Sydney because neither of us have ever done a trip on our own without family. So that alone felt like a big accomplishment, and I felt after the videos I'd just made, I deserved a break for January. But I hadn't finalized either the Rouge or SA2 scripts. The Rouge video ended up growing into something so much bigger than I planned for as I kept rewriting parts of it. I wanted to focus on the character's personality, dynamics with other characters, design, conception, and iterations. I wanted to talk about a hypothetical backstory for her, I thought, sort of, connecting her thieving skills set to how she ended up working for the President and gun, and a potential answer for her SA2 ult, and even a couple animated segments where she'd sneak onto the screen and comment on some of the talking points or highlight certain aspects around her. I had a voice in mind for her, Cashlyn Snow, who I'd previously worked with for an unfinished animation from 2018, which I was struggling with, although I'm happy to say I came back to finish it, and I hope to see it finished soon. I'm a fan of Cashlyn's Rouge voice, and she's been great to work with.
Okay, just give me 1 minute.
However, she's taking a step back from fan projects to further her voice acting career, and I wish her all the best. But that left me without a voice for Rouge. On top of that, a big part of the script was centered on how Rouge is designed and how, unlike other characters who share consistent design conventions with each other, Rouge's anatomy is very different. But there was no escaping the fact that talking about her, well, anatomy, would result in problems I didn't want to deal with. Between predicting comments being untasteful or making judgments calling me a gooner because, God forbid, we acknowledge a cartoon bat has boobs. I always want my videos to be entertaining and interesting for people of most ages, and not exclusively 18+. But even if I'm talking from a design standpoint, someone is gonna find a way to interpret things in a way that makes it weird or awkward, because of course they would, it's the internet. And I could never be satisfied no matter how many times I rewrote the script. So for all those issues and not wanting to think about how long it would take to animate, I shelved the video uncertain of its fate. Which also resulted in the big SA2 video falling apart from my upload plans. I had so much I wanted to talk about, from fun touches like Tails forgetting to include landing gear in Sonic Adventure 1, leading to his next plane having giant walker legs, or that Rouge is designed as a reversed parallel to Knuckles, like how one is masculine and fights with punches and the other is feminine and fights with kicks. Or how there's chunks of the story actually missing that were either included in external media or left to fan interpretation, and how said interpretations differ from one another. But I hadn't even finished more than half the script when I decided to cancel this because things were just getting too much. On top of the stuff with the Rouge video, things just weren't working out for this one. I wanted to do something special and reanimate parts of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle's opening with HD modern assets like I did in this video, which is kind of where that idea originally came from, but also commission 2D artists to reanimate parts of it in the beloved Yuji Urikawa style, and have the opening glitch out between that, the modern HD version, and the original version. My assumption was that there were plenty of artists who are Sonic fans out there already experienced with the art style, but I was not prepared for when I made the request on Twitter for my DMs to be flooded with 20+ 2D artists desperate for commissions, shoving their $100+ rates in my face and revealing they aren't familiar with the art style or even Sonic Adventure 2, but still insisting on me commissioning them anyway while not actually understanding what I was requesting. And it became far too much way too quick, and I was feeling overwhelmed, and I just wanted the DMs to stop. So just like that, the videos were no longer happening, and early this year I also started a new job, which has also been taking a chunk of my time. I continued to make videos as well as animations and other projects alongside each other, and as time went by, I'd continue to get video ideas that made their way into their own video scripts, both finished and unfinished, but they were starting to build up. Oh boy, give me a sec. 4, 5, 6, oh geez. I even have a video script that I completed and recorded voiceover for late last year, but kept having to put it to the side until later, but I have made recent progress on it. This is what it looks like at the moment. I'm starting to enjoy recording and editing my voiceovers less and less because I keep fumbling my takes over and over, and the final audio can be from 40 minutes to an hour long before it's cut down to 13 or 24-ish minutes. At the moment, the next video likely to be finished is one about something in the third Sonic movie that's almost done, and there's also one relating to Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not strictly a Sonic fan, I'm a big Nintendo fan too, and there's so much non-Sonic content I want to make, but can never commit to doing any of it because I know if I upload something that isn't Sonic, odds are hardly anyone will actually watch it. Which sucks because I want to make videos on Zelda Wind Waker, or how Pokemon Stadium was ahead of its time. This year I've returned to my long slumbering Pokemon phase and have been playing the Game Boy games on original hardware, and because I've been collecting more retro games and systems, I want to talk about those too and weird little oddities about them. But at this rate, I don't care if no one wants to watch them because I'm gonna make them anyway. I love my audience, I owe you so much, but Sonic isn't the only thing I want to make videos about, and I've been too afraid to say that for so long. But that being said, there will never be a shortage on Sonic content. I also want to write a video about something I figured out that I found really exciting and want to talk about that I don't think anybody has ever considered before, and it centers around Sonic Triple Trouble for the Game Gear. Bet you didn't expect that. And there's a few more videos I have in the works that I don't want to reveal just yet, but I think you'll all love them, but you'll have to wait just a bit. And last but certainly not least, I wanted to talk about this video. My gosh, did this break me. This video was never meant to be anything serious, just a filler video I ended up putting more into than I expected, talking about something I just wanted to yap about regarding Sonic 4 and how it doesn't really fit into the timeline of events. I broke down my reasons why, and in retrospect, maybe Shouldn't Be Canon wasn't a great title, because if anything, it can just fit as another side adventure Sonic goes on, there's plenty of those, and could probably take place around the time it came out, sort of Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations-ish. But my main points about it not fitting as a follow-up to Sonic CD and Sonic 3 and Knuckles still stand, and I think I made my points very well and logical in that video. But clearly the majority of the hundreds of commenters disagree. During my years of being a YouTuber, I have always wanted to remain the type of content creator who is interactive with his audience, and I have always been happy to read as many comments as possible and answer questions or engage with people sharing their own takes or clarifying something from the video someone commenting didn't understand. You see, when I was younger, I never understood why other YouTubers never responded to my comments or answered any of my questions, but now I kind of see why. These past couple of years my following has grown considerably, and I could have never imagined being where I am now, and I owe it all to everyone who watches my videos. But then there's the complicated part of that. Among so many people, there are those who are a little less than considerate when commenting, and while I only had to deal with them every now and then, there's now a lot more of them. And I think it's become unhealthy obsessively trying to read every single comment, as it was starting to take its toll on me. And in the time since, I've seriously considered disconnecting myself from interacting with the comment section, because a lot of these were not worth getting involved with, and I'm sure some of you would think I should have already been doing that. Also, keep in mind, I have no idea who I'm talking to, how young they might be, some people may not consider how their words can come off, and a lot of Sonic fans in particular have a reputation for being rather defensive about their opinions. I am of course abbreviating because there were so many comments, but many of them were either taking direct offense to things I said in the video or actively trying to debate why I'm wrong on things, some more aggressive than others, many of which expressing how dare I think I know better than Sonic Team, that if they said that's how something is, then that's that, or that I'm pushing my own interpretations and headcanons on people, or some even pushing their own interpretations, which were very much not remotely close, but still hammer me for being wrong. So like, wow, no nuance. So let's just get a few things straight. First off, I never push my own personal interpretations or headcanons in my videos as if they're fact. I always do my research and double check things both in-game and online to make sure I'm being as accurate as possible, but sometimes certain things in the Sonic series aren't exactly straightforward. Either they are not explained clearly, or at different points in the series certain elements can actively contradict each other and require a bit of retroactive clarification, and as a fan, you have no choice but to sort of sidestep that. So often when I'm uncertain, I will use words like if or maybe, and if something is my personal opinion, preference, or headcanon, I will always say it's my personal opinion, preference, or headcanon. In my videos, I talk a lot about things misunderstood by fans, and my first instinct is usually to correct inaccurate information if I know it. I like sharing my knowledge of the series with others. And even so, I don't definitively always think I'm right either. I know full well I'm capable of making mistakes, and have on several occasions, and I can accept that and correct myself later. And why would I question something from Sonic Team and say it may be wrong? Someone once commented that I think I'm the messiah of Sonic or something. Well, it's not because I think I know Sonic better than Sonic Team, and I'm sorry if maybe you haven't seen earlier videos of mine, or if you only just became a Sonic fan in the past 3 years, but it's because Sonic Team have made more mistakes and errors on their own stuff more times than I can count. Things that made no logical sense and contradicted past games. It got so bad by Sonic Forces that Sonic Team had to restructure and create a division dedicated to keeping track of lore. And practically everything I had a problem with that I talked about in past videos have been changed or fixed since, which is amazing as a fan, but it's still possible for official sources to occasionally make mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with people like me critiquing that. Look, I'm done participating in debates. I'm tired of people arguing with me when they haven't even watched the whole video and saying stuff I already answered and explained in the video itself. I'm done reading anything trying to convince me classic Sonic isn't younger Sonic from the past, even though Sonic Team have reclarified multiple times that he is. Just because you can't accept the younger versions of Sonic and Eggman having different designs that represent them from the era of the series they came from, when they literally just looked like that in in those original games. Why am I even still talking about this? So, as you can see, this is a lot for me, and I'm trying to handle each of these things as well as I can. I make videos because I love making videos, I love talking about the things in gaming that interest me, and I do feel pressure of not having videos more regularly put out there for my ever-growing audience. I've let several things get to me that shouldn't have, and I believe in being open and honest and transparent with you all. I'm incredibly grateful for how positive and supportive a lot of you have been, and it motivates me greatly. So, if you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to me ramble on, and to stay tuned and stay awesome.